$200 in cash. $200 if I find it crazy. So you get one try, and if it's not crazy, I'm walking off with your secret. So what is it?
Today, and save on Sterling showers and bathtubs now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
What's up, Greg? I hope you're having a great holiday season. I know I was until I watched the new Home Alone movie, and I got sick. Also, I think the movie might have given it to me, honestly. You know, guys, when you think about it, I guess it makes a lot of sense that they would make a movie. You know, Hollywood loves their sequels of sequels, and they've already made like 5 Home Alone movies, so why stop there? And sure, like nobody has watched or even been interested in the last like 3. So, but all the more reason to make another one, you know? It's sort of a comeback Home Alone movie this could be. I guess could have if it wasn't already out and wasn't already bad. It's a shame, man. I really liked the first 2 Home Alone movies, and after that, nothing feels the same. And I don't know what it is about this one in particular, but watching this little kid beat the shit out of these burglars, it's just not as fun as it used to be. Guess I really am grown up. Oh, no, you know what it is, actually? It's not that I'm grown up. It's that instead of making the villains in this movie like cartoonishly evil burglars, they made them like a struggling middle-class family who are only breaking into this kid's house due to a misunderstanding. They're not evil, they're not trying to hurt anyone or kill anyone, they're just like a down-on-their-luck family. And this rich kid is just fucking him up at every turn, dude. This movie is insane. You know how a Home Alone movie goes. There's a kid, he gets left in his house by himself, there's robbers who try to break in, and the kid sets up a bunch of traps to try to hurt them and embarrass them. And that's exactly what happens in this movie. So you're probably wondering, who are these robbers, and why do they want to break into this kid's house so bad? So Jeff McKenzie are parents. They live in the same area as the main kid, Max. And the movie starts off with them having an open house. They're trying to sell their house because they're both down on their luck. One of them doesn't make very much money, and the other has just lost his job. And so they're trying to sell their house to keep food on the table for their families. It's very sad. The movie sort of tries to make it like funny thing happening. There's like millennials that come to try to buy the house, wearing berets and scarves. You know how like millennials do. Always wearing berets and scarves, I am.
You are amazing.
There's a lot of scenes like this in the movie. You to emphasize, and this scene they're just talking about how they can't afford to live in this house anymore, even though they love this house and they always thought that they'd be growing old together in the house. Unfortunately, it just won't be able to become a reality for them.
I thought we'd get old and weird in this house, but we've done it. We can't afford it on this holiday.
I mean, I crushed my interview with
But that was 3 months ago.
It's very sad, and when I watched this, I didn't know that these 2 were going to be the ones who were gonna have all of the booby traps happen to them. And it's kind of crazy now watching it back, being like, holy shit, just about an hour and a half from now, these 2 are gonna be getting what's their motivation to rob this kid? Well, it's sort of, I feel like everything in the movie is so long and convoluted to explain. Probably because they've done this same movie like 6 times now, and so they keep having to come up with like new, more obscure ways to explain everything. Like, how does the kid get left home alone? And why are burglars trying to get into his house? Basically, there's this doll that the Mackenzies own. They have a whole collection of these dolls that were like his grandma's or something, and they find out that one of them is worth like $200,000. Enough money for them to like save their house and have enough time for the husband to find a new job, and they even remodel the whole house. It's great. But during their open house, Max and his mom, who are rich, by the way, they live in a mansion, stop at their open house because Max has to pee.
Do the math. This soda refills into one tiny 10-year-old's bladder that is not going.
They sort of are using this less wealthy family's house as a public restroom of sorts. And the Mackenzies talk to Max about this doll, and that's actually how they learn how valuable the dolls are, is because Max knows this information.
There was this elderly lady who bought one at a garage sale, and then it ended up going for about 5,000.
And then the doll goes missing. And so the Mackenzies assume that Max stole the doll from him. So they are breaking into his house to try to get the doll back so that they can save their family. Which is not a decision that they take lightly, mind you. They're not like stoked to do this. They're like a normal family just like anybody else, but this is like the only thing they can do to try to keep their family up. They're actually like extremely nervous about doing this because they don't want to get caught. Little do they know they will get caught. And they will get caught. So yeah, in various ways, this movie goes out of its way to show you how nice people the Mackenzies are, how much they don't want to break into this house, but how they're like left no other option. It's like, it's honestly, you gotta kind of respect it in a way. They're like, look how these people, they're so nice, they're so sweet, wouldn't hurt a fly, they just really want to keep their family well fed and in a nice house. We're gonna fuck with them, we're gonna like an evil Mr. Beast. So at first, only Jeff is on board, but then this scene happened, and this is what finally gets Pam on board to help out with the rock.
Seriously, Mom, will you just get the ball?
Just your drink. Pam, you have to call them.
I will, you little boy.
Weirdly inspirational music as this woman is having a full meltdown. She's like hallucinating. This is the moment she's realizing she has to do something that is like deeply against her morals, just to put food on the table for her family. And the music is just kind of this like inspirational Christmas song. It does not seem like the right stuff, but okay. So now you may be wondering, since I brought it up, how does Max? So now you may be wondering how Max gets left home alone. They've done this movie a million times. How can they possibly come up with new ways for a child to be left home alone from a family vacation? Well, the short answer is they basically just everything is so confusing that they just leave him. It's confusing for them and it's confusing for us as well. They're going on vacation to Japan with a bunch of extended families. So they've got a bunch of families staying in their house. It's very chaotic, it's very hectic. The whole beginning of the movie is just them like rapid fire introducing a bunch of characters that we literally never see again. All this confusion, the families get split onto 2 different flights to go to Japan.
It's all about you. That's right. Please speak up, please. It's very loud.
So they can't really keep track very well of who's on which one. Now, as for how he actually gets left at home, that's a sort of a Scrooge of a child. While Max has like all of his playing, they're all running through the halls, playing video games, shooting Nerf guns at each other. Max, I guess, is like overwhelmed by all of this and goes to hide in his family's BMW.
Bill cost subscriptions that I didn't even know that I was paying. And they make canceling the ones that I don't use as easy as clicking one. This year, I paid $120. So what are you waiting for? Try Google now.
This is not a champion in Raid Shadow Legends, and you can have international tournament MVP awards and become the #1 player in the world. Simple, right?
There's 2.
You can save yourself some time.
There's 2 of them.
Shadow Legends is the legendary Sim champion in Raid.
random car commercial at the beginning of the movie. He leaves the ruckus of his house on the holidays to go sit in the garage in his family's BMW and watch cartoons. Seems like a weird way to advertise
Damn,
BMW.
that's a lot.
I'm not sure about that product placement. BMW.
Yo, this thing is crazy.
Who hate their family. Get left home alone while your family goes to Japan because you were watching Looney Tunes in your car. BMW. This kid is a weird one, man. He's like 80 years old or something. He lives in a huge ass house. He's got a bunch of cousins. He's got a million toys, probably. They find a big better set. He's like, get all this fun out of my house. I hate Christmas. I'm gonna go hide in my luxury car and pass out for 12 hours. There are a lot of choices in this movie that make very little sense, and I'm still trying to figure out why they would do it. This movie looks like weirdly cheap, while also having a ton of big celebrities in it. People that even I was surprised to see, even after watching a trailer, like Kenan Thompson, Pete Holmes, Ellie Kemper. They have like a ton of big names in this movie, and some of them look like Chris Cornell, for example, plays Uncle Stu in this movie, who we see once at the beginning, and then for the rest of the movie, he's shitting. What's going on? He's shitting even before we see him too.
Just use the restroom in the coffee shop, darling. After Uncle Stu had been in there? Really? Did you see how many deviled eggs he had to eat?
And then for the rest of the movie, we only hear him through the door of the bathroom.
No, because we don't have a landline too.
Because he gets to Tokyo and then I guess had more bad food and is still shitting. Actually, that might be one of the funniest parts of the movie, honestly. The fact that this uncle is just pooping his brains out the entire time. That is pretty funny. And the fact that they got such like a big name to play him. And we're paying you $5 million for this role. And you're going to be behind a door, pooping your brains out, and we're never going to see you. Is that cool? Also, Mikey Day from SNL is a priest in this movie. If you didn't look very hard, you might not even know there was a priest in this movie. Let alone the fact that he was played by someone famous. If this movie was good, it would have been cool to see so many famous actors. But because it was really underwhelming, it was almost disappointing every time a new actor popped up that I recognized. I was like, oh. Not you too, man. What's going on? Are you okay? Another weird choice, they threw in this line in the middle of the movie about remakes always being worse than the original.
Garbage. This is why they were always trying to remake the classic. Never as good as the original.
Like, yeah. Fuck you. That was like the studio being like, we know this isn't as good as the first one. You're still gonna eat this shit up, aren't you, little piggy? Little piggy likes his Home Alone movies, doesn't he? And I did eat this shit up, alright? So, I can't talk, I watched it still. I feel like with a kids movie like this, you always have to appeal to the kids, but then also throw in some good stuff for the adults in there to make it fulfilling for them to watch. That way they'll wanna, throw it on with the kids every year, right? And this movie works well enough for kids, I think. I think kids just like to watch Max make the booby traps and think, I could do that if I was like, home alone and there are people trying to rob me. I could defend myself against two adults who are trying to kidnap me. It's fun to imagine yourself as a smart little 6-year-old, even if you are a dumb little 6-year-old. But this movie, while being fun for kids, I would say is deeply saddening for adults. The second half of the movie is just watching a struggling family get their shit rocked by a rich asshole kid. He's just not a cool, fun kid. He's a rich asshole who tries to steal from church at one point.
I'm definitely a child in need. Need of this. Can I help you?
Even if Max was a likable child, we probably wouldn't even know because we spent hardly any time getting to know him. And the time that we do spend getting to know him, he's not very likable. When he first gets left home alone, in the movies, that's like their chance to do everything they've ever wanted to do in the house. But all Max wanted to do, I guess, was play video games and Hot Wheels and then watch porn.
Well, playground.
Was he trying to look at porn? We will never know. That's what they wanted us to think, right? Actually, after watching this movie, I wouldn't be surprised to find out it was something super violent. Working Family gets a beating compilation. No one can stop my violent urges now. Man. Also, during the big fight when the
What the
Mackenzies come to rob Max, he doesn't act like a kid who thinks he's going to be kidnapped should act. He acts creepy. What a kid should do, even if he's set all those up, and then find a place to
Goddamn
hide,
mom.
right? Like get in a box under a box in the basement and just hide there. But not Max, dude. He is sick. Every time the mom gets like thrown across the room or a few teeth knocked out, he's always like right around the corner giggling. He's been waiting for an excuse to do this, for sure. He has been planning this for longer than it seems. Speaking of which, let's talk about the traps. I think the traps in this movie might be pretty on par with the other Home Alone movies, with the exception of a few particularly grotesque ones. And also, I think the makeup artists in this movie thought they were doing makeup for a horror movie. At one point, Jeff gets shot in the head with a pool ball, because Max has sort of like a gun that shoots out pool balls, which I think but Jeff is just kind of walking around the rest of the scene with like a giant ass bump on his head. It is horrific. Why are you doing this to us, Pam? At one point, Pam, sweet Pam, is lit on fire.
Okay.
This poor mother is set ablaze. She runs to the hose to try to put out the fire and it sprays her. And then for the rest of the movie, she looks insane, dude. At one point, it shows her feet as she's stepping on Legos, her bare feet. And her feet are burnt to a crisp. And the whole time I'm trying to think, what were the writers thinking during this part? You know what, man? This is going to be even funnier because they probably don't...
Oh my god. I can't escape from this guy. This guy is trying so hard. He's literally up my ass the whole entire game. This guy does not stop. I'm just gonna count that as my wait, no.